Five Taliban fighters are already dead. 8 more are wounded and running. 1 Marine is still moving forward. The ambush isn't over, and somewhere on the other side of it, an enemy machine gun is waiting. What he does in the next 4 seconds will earn him the Navy Cross and prove exactly what an M249 in the right hands can do to a Taliban position. What you are about to watch is moments when a Marine smokes Taliban fighters using an M249. September 8, 2008, Shawan Farah Province, Afghanistan. A Marine patrol rolls into a quiet village on Route 517. Then every compound window, rooftop, and tree line erupts simultaneously. 250 Taliban fighters, PKMs, RPGs, coordinated interlocking fields of fire. SGA Aaron Alonso is in the turret of his MRAP when the first RPG punches through the hull. The vehicle is already on fire. The ambush is already inside them. Rounds hitting steel from every direction at once. Alonso doesn't dismount. He swings the M240 north and opens up. He works the belt left to right, sweeping the tree line systematically, tracing the muzzle flashes. Each burst is 3 to 5 rounds, controlled, deliberate. A man running exactly the training built for this moment. The Taliban's northern firing line is the most dangerous. PKM's positioned there have a clean lane straight down the patrol's column. If that line holds, the ambush overruns them in minutes. It doesn't hold. SGT Caleb Medley is already on the ground beside the burning MRAP-P, his M249 hammering the eastern compounds. 2 machine guns, 2 sectors, neither man flinching. The initial Taliban charge breaks before it reaches them, but breaking the first wave isn't winning. The Taliban still have 200 men. The kill count is only beginning to climb. When the smoke clears over Shawan and the Taliban melt back into the compounds, the count begins. Marines work sector by sector through the dust and cordite. The numbers stop officers mid-sentence. Approximately 50 Taliban fighters confirmed killed in a single 8-hour engagement against 1 small Marine patrol. No other small unit Marine machine gun fight in the Afghan war produces a confirmed enemy kill figure anywhere near that number. Alonso and Medley had just carved their names into the record books. That is the kill count that makes Shawan impossible to ignore. But numbers on paper mean nothing without proof. What locks this engagement permanently into Marine Corps history is what surfaces next: the footage, the gun camera record, and the citations that name exactly what those 2 machine guns did. The Doody gun camera footage corroborates the after-action report exactly. Sustained machine gun fire walking methodically across Taliban positions, bodies in the open, compound walls riddled through. Ground footage captured by Marines inside that kill zone shows Alonso's M240 and Medley's SAW still running before the dust has settled. Then the citations land. Written commendations for both men use the same phrase: devastating suppressive fires. Not battlefield poetry, but legal language entered into the permanent record. 11 Marines and 2 corpsmen receive Impact Valor Awards from that single engagement. That is the institutional paper trail that makes Shawan undeniable. 50 confirmed kills, gun camera proof, named commendations. Shawan is sealed. But Shawan was open terrain. What happens when a Marine gunner climbs to a rooftop above the most fortified city and the insurgents below have nowhere to run? November 8, 2004. 10,000 Marines and soldiers breach a city turned into a fortress. 700 hardened insurgents behind barricaded doorways, snipers in minarets, machine gun nests on every 3rd rooftop. Every alley is a potential kill box. Every building a prepared position. The 1st Marine Division pushes block by block through streets reeking of cordite and concrete dust. Within hours, it becomes the most violent urban combat American forces have seen since Hue City, Vietnam. The insurgents are waiting, and somewhere inside that burning city, 1 Marine SOW gunner climbs to a rooftop, and the insurgents below have no idea what they just walked into. The rooftop sits maybe 4 stories up. Below, a narrow street channels insurgent squads between 2 blown-out apartment blocks, a textbook kill zone they don't realize they're walking into. The Marine SAW gunner sets up his M249 at the rooftop lip, belt-fed and ready. The first insurgent element crosses at roughly 150 meters. He opens up. The 1st Marine Division after-action report documents what follows in precise terms: sustained cyclic fire, multiple 200-round belts expended from a single fixed position across several distinct enemy movement attempts. The insurgents keep trying to cross. He keeps firing. Distance, rate of fire, belt count, all logged. Each time a new squad pushes into that street, the SAW meets them before they reach the far side. But the position isn't finished. The numbers stacking up below that building are about to make this one of the most documented single-position kill counts of the entire Fallujah fight. Relief arrives. The rooftop position is still smoking. When the 1st Marine Division AAR tallies the numbers from that single fixed point, they are not rounding. Multiple full 200-round drums expended, multiple distinct assault elements engaged. A confirmed body count below that building, accounting for an entire insurgent assault wave neutralized before a single fighter reached the far side of the street. The official citation language is deliberate, neutralized, an entire assault element. That is a kill stack, hard numbers, institutionally verified, logged in the after-action record of the heaviest urban battle American forces fought in the entire Iraq War. DVIDs releases helmet cam footage from inside Phantom Fury. Shaky, dust-filtered, brutally honest. Then, the Overwatch angle surface. You can see the rooftop position, kill zone below, sustained burst sequences, tracers walking across insurgent squads, still pushing through. Watch it frame by frame and it matches the AAR exactly. The range, the angle, the beaten zone. Every line in the official record maps onto what the lens captured. Before the first fighter crosses, during the sustained fire, after the street goes silent. That is the Fallujah rooftop SAW, verified in ink, verified on tape, confirmed in blood on the pavement below. But Fallujah was a fixed position. What happens when the Marines have no rooftop, no walls, nothing but open poppy fields, and the ambush triggers from 3 directions at once? February 2010, Marjah District, Helmand Province. Operation Mushtarak has just pushed the largest Marine assault since Fallujah into Taliban heartland. A 1.6 Marines dismounted patrol moves through open poppy fields, flat ground, zero cover, irrigation ditches cutting the terrain in every direction like a maze designed specifically to kill you. The Taliban designed exactly that. The ambush triggers simultaneously, 3 directions, RPGs, PKMs, small arms, all opening at once from the ditch lines the Marines are already channeled between. The fields are open kill ground, the ditches are pre-sighted kill zones, the patrol is caught exactly where the fighters planned. Every instinct says get down. Getting down means getting into the ditch. Getting into the ditch means walking straight into their guns. That is the kill zone. But one gunner doesn't get down. He moves forward. The M249 gunner attached to 1-6 Marines pushes to the most exposed position along the primary ditch. No cover, Taliban PKMs tracking left across the field, rounds cutting air at chest height. He drops to a firing position in the open and acquires the ditch line. February 2010, Marjah District. The belt is 200 rounds. He burns through it in under 90 seconds. Sustained bursts walking down the ditch, targeting every muzzle flash, every fighting position the Taliban had spent weeks preparing. The coordinated enemy rate of fire, the thing that made the ambush work, begins to fracture. PKMs go quiet, the firing pattern breaks. That is the moment the kill zone stopped being theirs. When the guns go quiet in Marjah, someone has to walk the ditch. Marines from 1.6 conducted the battle damage assessment on foot, moving along the irrigation channel the Taliban had held for weeks. The confirmed what the M249 did in those 90 seconds. The official 1.6 after-action report logs the confirmed enemy dead from that primary ditch position. The number is not approximate, it is fixed. What makes this engagement different is the corroboration. Embedded journalists present during Operation Mushtarak filed independent accounts matching the AAR figure exactly. 2 separate sources, neither aware of the other's count, land on the same number. That is what locks it. The Marjah ditch kill count is not a battlefield estimate that fades with time. It is documented, cross-referenced, and sealed. But numbers alone don't show you what it actually looked like when that M249 was working. For that, there is footage. The camera was rolling when the M249 opened up. An embedded photographer behind the Marine element captured the engagement in real time, muzzle flash, strobing across the ditch line, brass ejecting in continuous arcs, the gun tracking left through the kill zone without stopping. The footage matches the AAR line by line, the ditch, the approach lane, the aftermath, bodies where the report says bodies. That is the rare trifecta: live footage, written after action report, independent BDA confirmation, all three pointing to the same engagement, position, and same 90 seconds of fire. The Marjah M24 ambush, documented from every angle, sealed. But Marjah, brutal as it was, is not the deadly urban environment on this list. For nearly 3 years, Ramadi bled. By mid-2006, this city of 400,000 in Iraq's Anbar province had consumed more coalition lives per square mile than any urban environment in the entire war, surpassing even Fallujah in casualty density. Al-Qaeda in Iraq owned the streets, snipers controlled every rooftop line, IEDs waited at every intersection. Marines and soldiers from 1st Battalion 6 Marines were fighting just to hold ground they'd already taken the week before. The numbers were clinical and brutal. Ramadi in 2006 was not a battle, it was a sustained execution attempt against every Marine who stepped outside the wire. This was the city, this was the environment, and it was inside this meat grinder that one M249 SAW team on a rooftop changed the math of a single afternoon completely. The narrow street below the observation post was 12 feet wide. That morning, the insurgents came down it in a column, walking fast, weapons up, expecting to hit the bottom floor before anyone upstairs registered the movement. They didn't know about the SAW team. The M249 gunner opened up from the upper window at less than 30 meters. At that distance, 5.56 doesn't just suppress, it erases. The lead element crumpled into the street before the trailing fighters understood what had happened. The SAW kept cycling. The insurgents had built their own kill zone. The gunner never left a window. The assault element never reached the lower floor. The Marines below never fired a shot. That is the observation post holding. When the Marine Corps and Army battle staff sat down after that observation post engagement, 3 numbers came out of the debrief. Engagement duration under 4 minutes. Belts expended from the single M249 position 6. Confirmed enemy dead street below 11. Staff Sergeant Marcus Patton's section reported rounds cycled so fast the barrel hit critical temperature before the assault element collapsed. The insurgents never adapted because they never got the chance. The kill zone the M249 held was barely the length of a basketball court. Per gun, per minute, those numbers place this Ramadi position at the top of every Iraq urban engagement metric in the unclassified record. Both Army and Marine battle staffs filed their after-action reports independently. The Army element on the southern rooftop confirmed the M249 burst sequences, the collapse of the assault line, and the bodies left in the kill zone. Staff Sergeant Marcus Patton's Marines confirmed the same from above. 2 services, 2 vantage points, 0 discrepancy. Duty released footage of the street aftermath shows exactly what both AARs described: 11 fighters down inside barely 60 feet. That is the Ramadi SAW storm. 11 confirmed kills, 1 gun, under 4 minutes, the highest per gun kill rate in the unclassified Iraq urban record. But Ramadi had numbers. What comes next has something rawer. 1 Marine, 2 IEDs, and 15 Taliban waiting in the open field. June 18, 2010, Helmand Province, CPL. Clifford Wooldridge, Weapons Company, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, left the wire that morning on a mounted patrol. Minutes out, the first IED detonates under the convoy. Before the dust settles, the second hits. 2 blasts, back to back, a sequential strike designed to stop a patrol cold, wound the survivors, and hold them in the kill zone long enough for the ambush to close. 15 Taliban fighters were already waiting. Wooldridge should have been dead twice before firing a single round. He wasn't. And what he does next, on foot, alone, across open ground, is why this engagement sits at the top of this list. He ditches the vehicle and runs. Not toward cover, across it, open ground, 0 concealment, the full Taliban flank exposed in front of him. Wooldridge is sprinting with the M249 shouldered, eating the distance between the burning convoy and the enemy's far edge. The Taliban fighters see him, they open up, he doesn't stop. The Navy Cross citation records it clinically. While maneuvering across exposed terrain under direct fire, Wooldridge engages and kills 2 enemy fighters mid-movement while moving, alone. 15 fighters held this ground. One Marine punched through the middle of it on foot and took 2 of them before he even stopped moving. That sprint changes everything. But the open ground was only the beginning. What waits on the other side of that wall is closer, faster, and far more personal. 4 Taliban fighters, 10 feet, no room to think. Wooldridge pulls the trigger. The M249 rips through 3 of them before they can raise their weapons. The citation doesn't dress it up. He engaged and killed enemy fighters at near point-blank distance. The combat footage captures the corner, the wall, the aftermath. What it can't capture is the half-second separating Wooldridge from the men he just killed. 3 down. The 4th fighter is still standing when the SAW goes silent. Gun dry, one-armed Taliban at arm's reach, and Wooldridge is holding a useless weapon. Most men freeze in that gap. What Wooldridge does instead is the moment that makes this engagement almost impossible to believe, and the Navy Cross citation has to describe it carefully because it sounds like fiction. The 4th fighter hasn't moved, but he has a PKM. Wooldridge drops the empty SAW and goes for the barrel. Bare hands, forward momentum, no hesitation. The Navy Cross citation describes it in flat military language. He grabbed the enemy machine gun and wrested it from the fighter's control. What that means in real terms is a Marine and a Taliban fighter in a physical struggle over a loaded weapon at arm's reach, neither willing to release it. Wooldridge wins. He strips the PKM. The fighter is neutralized. The gun changes hands in seconds. That is the single most violent reversal on this list. A bare-handed weapon seizure mid-firefight, documented word for word in a Navy Cross citation because nothing else could describe it accurately. 8 confirmed kills. 1 stripped machine gun. The Navy Cross citation is public record. Military Times locked it in. Maj. Karen Calvin's words, a hornet's nest, describe what Wooldridge walked into alone, with an M249 and no backup plan. The final tally from June 18, 2010, Helmand Province, 8 enemy fighters killed or wounded, 1 enemy PKM seized barehanded, 0 Marine fatalities in the squad, 1 Navy Cross awarded to Corporal Clifford Wooldridge, Weapons Company, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. Not wounded or rescued, he walked back to his men. That is the evidentiary close on the most violent single-operator machine gun engagement in this entire list. A man who survived 2 IEDs, flanked 15 fighters, killed at his feet, and stripped a loaded weapon from an enemy's hands. If these 5 engagements proved anything, it's that the M249 isn't just a weapon, it's a decision. Drop a like if Wooldridge's wall corner changed how you see close-quarters combat. Now tell me, when he ditched the saw and grabbed that enemy barrel barehanded, was that instinct or insanity?